This is where everything began. This is what moulded me to become the monster that I once was. You know, I used to come down here, go up to the oval up here for my football training, and I used to cut through this bush here. Two other perpetrators that molested me lived in that house right there. Yeah, they'd wait just here in the bushes and bail me up. Domestic violence was rife, child abuse was rife, sexual assault was rife, crime was rife. Like it was just what it was. It all began from a very, very young age, you know, that life of just taking and not giving a damn about what the consequences were. You're stealing money from the milkman, next minute you're jumping counters and robbing tills. You're kicking indoors and taking people's drug money. That's how it began.
What followed for Brent Simpson was a life of violent crime, of death, drugs and abandonment. His life was spent on the street, but his years were spent in prison. Diagnosed with bipolar, estranged from his family, weaning off drugs, it became too much. He tried to take his own life 3 times.
At that point, seen no out at any of those times. All 3 were very serious attempts. All 3 have their own story of survival. And I do understand now why I'm here today talking to you.
Why is that?
Because my life has been given to me to be able to help inspire others to not have to go down the roads that I went through. Jail is not a pretty place for anyone and everybody's vulnerable. So, you know, you make a decision there and then. Do you want to spend my life like this or am I going to end up dead? Because that was the only 2 options. And for me, I didn't want either of those. I wanted to find a positive and come out and strive for that.
Was there a point for you where you said, that's it, I've got to change what I'm doing here?
My oldest has just turned 12 years of age and it was one of the 4 visits where he'd given me, you know, basically a message of, Dad, either get together, otherwise you won't have me in your life. I didn't want a father that was going to choose a life of crime and not care for him and be a role model. So, you know, what do? You man up.
What do you think it was about you that has helped you to come out of that?
Hitting rock bottom and realising where I wanted to be in life and what I wanted and who was in my life that I always craved for. You know, like family. I never had family, I never had the affection, I never had love. These things were all there waiting for me. So I had to make that decision right there and then that I either get my stuff together, I go deep into who I am, I go and deal with the pain and the heartache of being sexually abused, physically abused, and not be a victim anymore. I needed to come out and let it go. Be at peace with myself to know that when I did come out that I could actually move forward.
Tell us about your organisation.
Well, I'm the founder of the Heavy Hitters Foundation. We're a national not-for-profit charity that raises awareness for mental illness and supports people living with mental illness and those that have lost loved ones or friends to suicide and those who have survived.
You rode a bike from the Gold Coast to WA to Perth, is
Exactly from Snapper Rocks on the Gold Coast to Cottesloe Beach, Perth. I did 4,564 kilometres.
Okay, how long did that take?
I was aiming to be the first person in the world to do it in under 50. I did it in 45. I fractured my elbow day 2 and ended up with 36 internal and external stitches. Hit a pothole, flipped over, come down, cracked my helmet. I've still got big scarring.
The second day?
Yeah. Scarring all over my knee. And I said, well, we'll just get some anti-inflammatories and we'll push on. 2,500 kilometres later, I had the onset of septicemia. I was pulled up at Ceduna, the last hospital on the Nullarbor before the long road to Perth. And I was rushed to Royal Adelaide via air and operated on immediately. There for 8 days on drips and all the antibiotics in the world. I was stitched up. I signed myself out, flew back to Ceduna, got back on the bike exactly where I got off it and rode the rest of the kilometres to Perth and still did it in under 50 days. So I would have did it in 36. And that's my claim, 36, but I did it in 45. The reason of me going across, which was to raise mental illness awareness and let people know that you can live with a mental illness and still achieve great things. I live with type 2 bipolar, but it was bigger than me. There was no turning back. I'd gone beyond halfway. there was only one way to finish, and that was at the finish line.
Are you proud of yourself?
I am. I haven't completed much in my life. I don't have a trade. I didn't complete school. Grew up on the streets. Spent plenty of time in boys' home and jails. So to achieve something like this on such a big scale, and no one to have achieved it before me, was huge. That makes me very proud.
Brent Simpson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for
It's
having
great.
me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.